everybody. So this algorithm question is the flatten array question. So given an array like this, they want us to return an array that essentially flattens it. So they want that array to essentially just look like this. So we need to figure out a way to turn this array into this array. Okay, so I have my function flatten here, and flatten is going to take in an array. And because I know I'm going to return an array at the end, I'm going to go ahead and declare an empty array. This is what we're going to essentially push some values into and return it at the end. So my version of this function uses a for loop and recursion. So let's go ahead and start making this for loop. So we have for let I equals 0, I is less than array dot length, and I plus plus. So this will iterate through our array up here. So I'm going to basically ask one question, and if it's a number, we're going to push into this array, and if it's an array, we're going to essentially run this function on it again. So I'm going to show you how I have it set up here. So if array dot is array, and then we're going to put in Ri here, okay? So Ri is going to be 1, 2, and then, this array of 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then 9 and 10, and so on and so forth. So it's asking, is this item an array? And that's going to return true or false. So right here is going to be the true. We'll go ahead and start with the else. It's a little easier. So if it's not an array, we're just going to push to new array. So if it's just like a number or something, we're just going to push to new array. So new array dot push Ri. Okay, simple enough. If it is an array, we're essentially going to run the function on this item again and continue it. So we're going to say let more flat equal flatten Ri. So this is the same function. You see flatten, we're using recursion here. So we're going to set the return of this to this variable right here, and then we're going to concat it to this new array. So to concat it, we're going to do new array is equal to new array dot concat more flat. Okay? And then at the end of our function, we're just going to return new array. So let me just run that for you guys real quick. If you'll see, it worked. It combined all of them together to make a single array of all the numbers. But let me run through how it's going through. Okay. So the first time we run the function, we're starting at here, index 0, right? So you run the function and it asks, is 1 an array? No. So it's going to push it into new array, right? We're going to go ahead and put that 1 there. Then it's going to say, is 2 an array? No. So it's going to push it in. All right. So we've got 2 in there. Okay, well, so now we get to here, and it's going to say, is this an array? This item at the second index, the 2 index, and it is. So it's going to run the function again. So we start at the beginning. So it's going to say, is 3 an array? No. So I'm going to write it down here kind of to represent it. So it's going to put 3 into here. Then it's going to say, is 4 an array? Nope. It's going to push it into here. Then it's going to say, are 5, 6, is this right here an array? And it is. So it's essentially going to put it into this flatten function. All right. So then we start the flatten function over, and the flatten function is going to go through this 3 times for 5, 6, and 7. It's going to say, is 5 an array? No, push it in. Is 6 an array? No, push it in. Is 7 an array? No, push it in. So at this point, we get down to this array right here, right? And it's going to reach the end of the function. These first two haven't actually finished their for loops right here. They haven't, because of the recursion, they haven't finished running through the rest of their arrays. So we finish this one, and it's going to return as this new array and be set to here. So then we get to here where we concat it to the new array. So 3 and 4, this array right here, we concat the array with 5, 6, and 7. So now it looks like this. Okay, well then we move on. We move on to here and we say, okay, 8's a number, we put it in. So now this right here is done. We've reached the end of this for loop, we've reached the end of the length for this, and so now we're going to return that new array. And so back to this first time we ran the function, that this array is equal to more flat, and we're going to concat it to the new array. So down here, I'm going to add we're going to add 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So this is what our current new array looks like. And then we move on. So we remember when we first did it, we were at this index, this one, the 2 index. It ran all these functions again, and then now we're at the 3 index, so we're at 9. It's going to ask if that's an array. No. So it puts it in. Same with the last one. No. Puts it in. And this is our final new array that gets returned at the end in our console log.